Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to the show. Hope everybody had a great New Year's. And to start off, we have yet another giveaway announcement. This time, I'll be giving away 5, count them 5, of these Larry Elder Show mugs. Who doesn't want to have a Larry Elder Show mug? So make sure you go to winlarry.com right now to enter the giveaway. I will be announcing winners this month, January 20th, live on the Larry Elder Show on Epic TV. So be sure not to miss it. Again, that's winlarry.com. Got that? And of course, thank you to everybody who signed up for the last giveaway. We love engaging with you guys, so please let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Now let's start today's show, shall we? Keenan Anderson, a black suspect, died of cardiac arrest after being tased by the LAPD cops. Here is some of what happened.
Driver? Get off to the side here. Get on the street. Hey, stop right there. Get up against the wall.
I'm sorry, I didn't need to.
Get up against the wall.
Please, I didn't need to.
Get up against the wall. Get up against the wall real quick.
Please.
Okay,
Please,
hold on a second.
Please, sir, I didn't need to, sir, please.
Hold on,
Please.
okay?
I'm sorry.
Mary 156, show me Code 6 on a TC not involved.
Please.
We're going to be Venice, west of Lincoln.
Oh my God.
Possible DUI driver. I get additional units, please.
The car.
Okay, what happened?
I lost my key.
You lost your key?
Yes. I came and I had somebody fix my car for me, sir. Please, don't, please,
okay,
sir.
do me a favor, sit down on your butt and sit with your legs crossed. Sit with your legs crossed. Sit with your legs crossed.
They're going to try to kill me, please.
Who's trying to kill you?
I had a stunt today.
What?
I had a stunt today, sir.
You had what?
A stunt. Like, no, that's a car.
Okay, what car were you driving?
BMW. Please.
Stay down for me. Hey,
please.
Hey, stay here. Stay here.
Sir, I need some water. Can you get some water? Please.
Stay here. I'll get you some water here in a second, okay?
Please.
Just have a seat up against the wall there,
yes, sir.
Okay? Have a seat against the wall.
Sir,
have a seat against the wall here.
Everybody got to see me, sir.
Have a seat
I don't want
against
to
the
be
wall
in the black.
over here.
I want people to see me.
Sure. Okay, you can
please,
sit right there then. If you want to be seen, sit right there.
No, I don't want to sit right there.
Sit right there if you want to have somebody see you.
Please.
Okay?
Please.
Just sit down for me a second here, okay?
Please, look, sir.
Sit down for me. Sit down.
You're putting a thing on me.
Sit down. I'm not putting anything. Come here. Sit down over here.
Please.
I don't want you in the road.
Please.
Come here. I don't want you in the road. Come here.
Please.
Come here.
Please.
Come here.
Please. Please.
Come here.
Over on your stomach! Get over on your stomach! Hold on!
Get down. Get down.
Please, sir, please don't do this! Please don't do this, sir! Please! Help me, please! You know what? Help me, please! No, please help me! Help me, please! Please, please! 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 Please!
Keenan,
relax!
watch out, watch out, watch out.
Help! Help! They're trying to kill me!
Hey, stop! I'm gonna tase you! Stop! I'm gonna tase you!
Milo's trying to kill me! I have stuff on YouTube!
Stop it! I'm gonna tase you!
Yes, sir!
Stop it! I'm gonna tase you!
Hey, please help me! Help! Help!
Stop it! I'm gonna tase you! Stop it! I'm gonna tase you! I'm gonna tase you! Stop it right now! Stop it right now! Turn over! Turn over! I'm gonna tase you! Turn over! Or I'm gonna tase you! Turn over! I'm gonna tase you!
Yes!
Watch your elbow, partner.
They're trying to join for me. They're trying to join
Stop
for
it.
me.
Stop it or I'm gonna tase you. Okay, stop it or I'm gonna tase you. Stop it or I'm gonna tase you. Stop resisting.
Please
Stop.
Please! Please!
I'm gonna tase him. I'm gonna tase him.
They're trying to kill me! They're trying to kill me! Leave me alone!
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yes, sir.
Don't resist.
No.
Hey, stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Okay.
Stop it.
Help!
Stop
Help, please! Help!
Do not
I'm not
move.
resisting. I'm not resisting.
Do not move.
Okay.
If not, I'm gonna tase you again.
Okay.
I got one.
Okay. Help me. Okay.
Here, hold on. Stop it. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
Now, this is the third case so far this year of a Los Angeles area suspect dying in or after police custody, all within 48 hours. Takar Smith.
In the first week of January, 3 men were killed during or following encounters with LAPD officers, including 46-year-old Takar Smith after he was shot and killed by officers during a mental health crisis. The department is conducting their investigation into the shooting, which could take weeks, but today, the Smith family says they want accountability now.
Just know that he was a great person. He was a great person.
In front of LAPD headquarters, Rashad Smith stands alongside his family to remember his brother, 46-year-old Takar Smith, after he was shot and killed by police on January 2nd.
Oscar Sanchez.
The family of a man shot to death by police last week is speaking out. Community activists and legal representatives joined the family during a news conference today in which they called out police. The LA County Coroner's Office identified the man as 35-year-old Oscar Sanchez. Family members referred to him as Oscar Leon. LAPD officers responded Tuesday to a call of a man armed with a weapon on Central Avenue near 28th. Officers claimed they told Leon to drop the weapon, but he refused to do so and started approaching them, and that's when they say they opened fire.
And the aforementioned Keenan Anderson. Now, the new LA mayor appears to have already decided that this is a matter of police misconduct. She put out a statement, quote, "I have grave concerns about the deeply disturbing tapes that were released today. No matter what these investigations determine, however, the need for urgent change is clear. We must reduce," she said, "the use of overall force, and I have absolutely no tolerance for excessive force," end of quote. And San Francisco proposes giving every black resident who's lived in the city more than 10 years a reparations lump sum payment of $5 million plus supplemental income for black low-income residents for 250 years. I kid you not. What's this? The great Aldersky has a pair of MyPillow, My Slippers. I most certainly do, but you know what? You don't. I'm sure you're saying, "Oh, Aldersky, how can I get a pair of MyPillow, My Slippers?" Well, call the number on your screen or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code ELDER. And remember, MyPillow has over 100 products up there. Check it out. This is the MyPillow pillow. Soft, amazing to sleep on. Once you sleep on one of these pillows, you'll never want to sleep on another pillow. Again, call the number on your screen or go to MyPillow.com, promo code ELDER. And this is the 6-pack towel set. You know, Mike Lindell found out that a lot of the towels that they sell in the stores, they may look good, they may feel good, but they don't work. They're not absorbent. These guys are absorbent. They, of course, come in different colors. And then, of course, there is the MyPillow Giza Dream Sheet. Giza is in Egypt. It is where the finest cotton in the world can be found. How do we know this? Because Mike scoured the world, looked everywhere. North Atlantic, South Pole, North Pole, South Pole, North Pole. Looked everywhere. They don't have much cotton on the North Pole. And he found the best cotton in the world, which is in Egypt, an area called Giza. Thus, he calls these the Giza Dream Bed Sheets. Mine is in white because, after all, I'm the black face of white supremacy. I almost said the white face of black supremacy, the black face of white supremacy, but you're not. You may want a different color. Also, they come in different sizes because beds come in different sizes. Call the number on your screen or go to MyPillow.com, promo code ELDER. Joining me to discuss this is Soledad Ursula, a finance professional and elected board member of the Venice Neighborhood Council. Soledad, thanks again for coming back on. I appreciate it.
Hi, Larry. Thank you.
Soledad, they're trying to George Floyd me.
You know, that video, it's horrifying to watch. And what people are not talking about is, I mean, he was definitely under, the initial tox reports have shown that he was under cocaine and marijuana. We don't have the full toxicology reports, but that appears to be much heavier drugs that he's under. And what no one is talking about is, something that we see, especially in Venice, that hard drugs are devastating our communities. We have an open border. We have Mexican cartels pushing these highly dangerous drugs through the border. And that's really what is hurting Californians. So no one's talking about going after the drug dealers that supplied him with these drugs that likely were the real reason that he was tased so much and likely died.
You know, Soledad, and I feel like Keenan Anderson, the way I feel about what happened with George Floyd. However you feel about whether or not there was excessive tasing, and some use of force experts say they were, I'm sure others will say otherwise. Whatever happened to George Floyd, however you feel about what Derek Chauvin did, there is zero evidence, Soledad, that what happened to them was because of their race. None. Even the lead black prosecutor in the George Floyd case went out of his way to say that not all police officers in general are on trial. Not all the Minneapolis PD is on trial. This individual named Derek Chauvin is on trial. Zero evidence that it was sparked because of his race. Yet we have 4 months of protests in the streets, all because of this assumption that what happened to George Floyd happened because of his race.
And that's really the sad thing here. When I first heard about this incident, I thought that it was a transient related issue, because that intersection has become very dangerous recently, where you have homeless individuals going up to cars in the intersection and asking for money. So I thought that, something happened where a homeless individual got hit, or, they were a danger to themselves and others. And a few days later, my father reached out to me, and he was asking about something that he saw on ABC 7, Channel 7 News. And they were reporting that the man had gotten into a car accident and was trying to wave down police asking for help. And then he was tased to death, likely due to the color of his skin. And I was so shocked by that this kind of reckless reporting, all it does is antagonize minorities. And I mean, that's a really awful thing to just report on. So, and then later you see Adam Schiff, who's tweeting out edited videos, also trying to make the same point, that it was based on the color of this man's skin. And it's so reckless here, because you wonder, are these people, are they in on it? Are they criminally evil, or are they grossly negligent? But in the eyes of the law, there really is no difference between gross negligence and criminal intent. And what's sad is we really have no accountability here.
The LAPD put out a statement that said that this man was breaking into cars. Is that what you've heard as well?
And there is one video that I have seen where there are some bystanders talking. There's an Uber driver, and he says that this man tried to carjack him. It sounds like the man, after getting into an accident that he caused, he plowed into some cars. He was running through the intersection, maybe trying to get into some of the cars, possibly trying to take off in one of the cars. But if you see the man, I mean, he's definitely under, some sort of heavy drug. He's in a very delusional and paranoid state. So we really don't know what happened. And again, we still have not had an autopsy. There's no full toxicology report. And yet, what's very interesting here in this case is that he happens to be related to Patrisse Cullors, one of the founders of Black Lives Matter. She stated that this is her cousin. And so now what you see is the Black Lives Matter group coming in and really calling out the LAPD. They believe that, what they're saying is that he was targeted for the color of his skin.
Now, you mentioned Black Lives Matter. I interviewed a guy named Zach Kriegman, who used to work for Thomson Reuters, Soledad. He was a data scientist, lawyer, went to Harvard, and he supported BLM at first. And then he did a study and found out whenever there's a high-profile death, whether it's Freddie Gray in Baltimore or Michael Brown in Ferguson or Tamir Rice in Cleveland, and there are protests, he documented thousands of what he called were excess deaths that would not have taken place had the police been proactive instead of pulling back and becoming passive for fear they're going to be accused of being systemically racist. So the Black Lives Matter movement, he wrote, is causing thousands of people to unnecessarily die. So they call him into the office, Soledad, and they asked him to change the results of his research. He refused, and they fired him.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for, it's just, we wonder, is everybody in on it? Why is the media rushing to make this case? It's very sad, because in their minds, they really see that it is the color of one's skin, which is why they're oppressed and why the police are killing them. But that's not what we see on the streets, and that's really not what's backed up by, the science. If you think about it, if this man was not stopped by the police, he likely would have run into the intersection and been hit by traffic. That's a very busy intersection. This is the Pacific Coast Highway and Venice Boulevard. And that's tragic that anybody would be in that circumstance. But what you see is Black Lives Matter coming in. They're trying to use this to make their case.
Is it too much to ask that suspects comply?
I don't think it's too much to ask. I've never been tased before. I would imagine that it's very painful. But what I understand is that he was tased 4 different times and the police were having a hard time to pin him down. So one really thinks about, the mental state. Who knows what other drugs he was on to not be able to be, held down just with one tase.
The police kill more whites than they kill blacks every year. They kill more unarmed whites than they kill unarmed blacks every year. But I bet you your average lefty could not name an unarmed white person who's been killed because the media doesn't give a rip.
Well, it doesn't fit their narrative. And I don't think I could name one either. We just don't see that on the news today.
There was a guy named Kelly Thomas who died here in L.A. His father was a former Fullerton cop. He was unarmed. There's a guy named in Dallas named Tomer, I believe was his name. He was also a mentally ill guy. Tony Tomas, I think it was. And there've been some others. I was in Fresno a few years ago giving a speech, and there was this non-black guy, I think he was half white, at a gas station, and he was driving erratically. He comes out, waving his arms around. The police couldn't tell if he had a gun, and they shot and killed him. Again, nobody cared because he was not a dark black person. So they're around, but again, the reason you can't name any is because Anderson Cooper and Van Jones couldn't give a rip because it doesn't fit the narrative, as you pointed out.
And remember, the power of the Democratic Party is the ability to convince minorities that they are fatally oppressed and that they must elect them and keep them in power for them to have any chance at life. So, of course, those things do not fit the narrative, and they're going to push these, it's very antagonizing. It's sad that the media would be so negligent to push this, and they seem to just, jump at the opportunity.
And there have been several studies that show, Soledad, that the police are more hesitant, more reluctant to pull the trigger on a black suspect than a white suspect. That doesn't fit their narrative either. There's a black Harvard professor named Roland Fryer who did a study. He assumed it was going to be the other way around. The guy is from the hood in Baltimore. So he did a study to find out, to confirm his suspicion that the police were killing black people just because they were black. And he said the results were the most surprising of my professional career.
Yes, I mean, that's one of the hardships. Even in Los Angeles, they're having a very hard time recruiting cadets to join the police academy. They're now looking to employ retired police. And think about what Chief LAPD, the LAPD Chief Michael Moore said recently. Apparently somebody had complained about the Blue Lives Matter, the police flag. And he complied with what seems to be one complaint about it. And so what you see is that people are afraid of BLM. They're pandering, and they're more, they're trying to be woke instead of being right. So what's really sad in Los Angeles, you see the LAPD chief, he is deciding to side with the woke. And, it's like really at the expense of the rank and file officers who risk their lives for us every single day. So in my opinion, Chief Moore, it's just what a disgrace to his own people to just side with anyone who objects to, the police flag and Blue Lives Matter.
Finally, Soledad, let's discuss the city by the Bay, $5 million to every black resident who's lived there more than 10 years, and 250 years of supplemental income to poor black people in that city.
And again, this is really the Democrats' way of really reaching out to minorities to make sure they realize that they're, fatally oppressed and they can't achieve anything without the Democrats. All these reparations, it will do nothing to fix their current status. One thing that you have been very good and critical of is just the state's inability to teach black and brown kids to read or do math. Because if you think that, if the Democrats really cared, what they should do is overhaul the state's failing educational system. I think it's something like 70% of black kids cannot read or do math at state levels. That is a real civil rights issue that people should be upset about. And yet nobody will do anything about it because public education is dominated by the California Teachers Association, who is one of the biggest donors to Governor Gavin Newsom.
Nor, Soledad, do people seem to be very upset on the left by the fact that a young black man is anywhere from 8 to 10 times more likely to be murdered than a young white man, almost always at the hands of another young black man. That doesn't seem to bother them.
No, it does not, because again, it does not fit their narrative. And when you look at all of these cries for reparations and you see the Democrats, we're now calling for statues to be taken down. One thing I wondered is, you only really hear Democrats talking about removing statues. And actually, it was the Democrats who were slave owners. So maybe that's why they are trying to get rid of the statues and get rid of the evidence, because you see them crying about it, but really it was them that was doing all of this. And they're really doing nothing to change or better the lives of Black and brown children in California or the United States.
And Soledad, since Democrats were slave owners, shouldn't it be Democrats paying reparations, not anybody else?
Well, especially with, California, also San Francisco, as we both know, California was never a slave state.
Right.
So it will be interesting to see who will pick up this bill, especially when you look at San Francisco and then California. I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars. The state's also facing, billion-dollar deficits. So maybe they plan to give California back to Mexico and get Mexico to pay for the reparations.
Or maybe they're going to pay off the blacks with crypto. Soledad, Ursula, thank you very much for coming on, as always.
Thank you, Larry.
When we come back, more hatred of Israel by college students. Now be sure and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and scroll down and get on our mailing list. Why? Because every now and then, believe it or not, YouTube has issues with some of our videos. To make sure you don't miss any videos, make sure you're on our mailing list. Also, there's a donate button. Feel free to hit that, throw a little something in the tip jar. LarryWithEpic.com, that's EPOCH, LarryWithEpic.com.